The translation device buzzed against my throat as the Valthrine Queen's third eye opened. I'd been standing guard for 6 hours without moving, sweat pooling under my ceremonial armor, when the human child slipped past the ceremonial barriers. Protocol dictated immediate action. My hand didn't move toward my weapon. The child, maybe 4 years old, stood directly before the crystalline throne, clutching a wilted flower. "Pretty lady," the child said. Every Valthrine warrior in the chamber tensed. Their exoskeletons rippled with bioluminescent warnings. The Queen's third eye, the one that supposedly saw truth itself, fixed on the small human. I calculated 17 ways this ended in bloodshed. The peace treaty between Earth and Valthrine hung on moments like these, moments of perfect, controlled stillness. The Queen's mandibles clicked once. Silence. I'd studied Valthrine psychology for 3 years before this posting. Read every xenoanthropology report. Knew that their warrior caste responded to disrespect with instant violence. Knew that their queen was considered divine, untouchable, separated from lesser beings by 10 feet of empty space at all times. The child stood 5 feet away. "Ambassador Chen," the Queen's translator Crystal sang out. "Explain." I was a guard, but I was the only human in the room besides the child, and the Queen's third eye had swiveled toward me. The Valthrine guards shifted, their weapon limbs extending slightly. I could smell the pheromones they released, chemical readiness for violence. "Your Majesty," I said, keeping my voice level, "human children lack full comprehension of—" "The child offers tribute," she interrupted. Her primary eyes studied the wilted flower. "Do humans teach their young to mock foreign customs?" "It's pretty. Like you." I stepped forward, not fast. Fast movements ended careers or lives in this throne room. But I moved, breaking my post, approaching the Queen without permission. Every Valthrine guard tracked me. Their warrior caste leader, Kresh, made a sound like tearing metal. "Warning." "Clear warning." "Stop," the Queen said. I was closer now. Close enough to see the intricate patterns in her exoskeleton, the way her smaller manipulation arms moved in subtle gestures that conveyed meaning beyond words. Close enough to be killed if she decided I'd overstepped. "The child is lost," I said. "Separated from their parent during the cultural exchange. They don't understand protocol. They see beauty and want to share joy. It's instinct, not insult." The child started crying, soft, confused, sobs. They'd finally realized something was wrong. The flower dropped from their small hand. The Queen's third eye closed, then opened again, wider. In Valthrine culture, that was profound consideration, or the moment before execution. I'd read reports arguing both interpretations. "You wear guard armor but speak with diplomatic knowledge," she said. "Your file indicates military background, former special operations. Why do you stand in my throne room pretending to be simple security?" My throat went dry. The translation device felt heavy. "I volunteered for this post." "Why?" "Because 3 years ago, Valthrine ships had glassed the Kepler colony. 14,000 dead. Because my sister had lived there. Because I'd sworn to understand the species that killed her to find a way to prevent it happening again. Because standing in this room day after day taught me more about our potential enemies than any intelligence briefing." I couldn't say that. "I believe in the treaty," I said. Her mandibles clicked 3 times. Laughter. Dark, knowing laughter. "You lie beautifully. But your eyes." She leaned forward on her throne. "They see me as beautiful, yes? Or do you see something else?" I'd been careful. So careful. Never let my thoughts show, never let my training slip, never revealed that I cataloged every weakness, every potential vulnerability in this chamber. But she saw. That third eye saw, the child sniffled. Picked up the flower. Walked past me toward the throne. "No," I said. Quiet. Firm. "Come here." "But the pretty lady." Now, the child heard something in my voice, turned, walked back to me. I picked them up, held them against my chest. Their parent would be frantic. Security would be searching. This situation needed to end. "I wish," the child whispered against my ear, but loud enough for the translation devices to catch. "I wish I could marry the pretty queen." "Like in stories?" Every translator crystal in the room broadcasts it simultaneously in Valthrine harmonic speech. The guard's bioluminescence flared shock white. Kresh actually stepped backward. The Queen's third eye dilated fully, pupil expanding until it looked like a black sun. Then she laughed. Real laughter this time, mandibles spreading wide. Okay. The word hung in the air. My translator confirmed it 3 times. Okay. Agreement. Acceptance. Consent. Your Majesty, Kresh said, his voice crackling with barely controlled alarm. The child doesn't understand. I said okay. The Queen stood. She was massive, standing 7 feet of chitinous grace. The human child wishes to marry me. I accept. Let all present witness this proposal and acceptance. I felt the moment crystallize. Felt the weight of it. A child's innocent words becoming political reality because the Queen decided they would. Because she saw an opportunity or a test or something I couldn't yet comprehend. Protocol, I started. Protocol, the Queen said, is what I say it is. She descended from her throne, movements deliberate, approached us, approached the child in my arms. Her smaller manipulation arms extended, touched the wilted flower still clutched in small human fingers. Tomorrow, Ambassador Chen, who pretends to be a guard, you will bring this child and their parents to the bonding chamber. We will discuss the terms of this marriage. And you will tell me the truth about why you really stand in my throne room. The guards parted. She walked past us, trailing the scent of ozone and something sweeter. Alien and utterly in control. I stood there, holding a child who'd just accidentally proposed to the most powerful being in the Valthrine Empire, and realized peace between our species had just become infinitely more complicated. The child's parents were astrophysicists, not diplomats. Dr. Sarah Chen, no relation, sat across from me in the security briefing room, her face cycling through disbelief, anger, and fear. Her husband, Marcus, paced. Their daughter, Emily, played with building blocks in the corner, oblivious to the political crisis she'd created. You let her walk up to an alien queen? Sarah said. Not a question. An accusation. I moved to intercept, I replied. The Queen commanded me to stop. I stopped, and now Emily is engaged to. She couldn't finish the sentence. The Valthrine don't have marriage as we understand it, I said, pulling up holographic files. They have bonding ceremonies. They create political alliances, merge bloodlines, establish hierarchies. When the Queen accepted Emily's proposal, she created a formal contract that can't be broken without war. The words settled into the room like radiation. I watched the information process across their faces. Sarah's hands trembled. Marcus sat down heavily. So we're trapped, Sarah said. Our 4-year-old accidentally started a war unless she goes through with marrying an alien queen. I leaned forward. The Queen is offering something, testing something. Valthrine don't accept proposals lightly. When she said okay, she invoked ancient laws. She bound herself to this as much as Emily. Why? Marcus asked. Why would she do this? I'd spent all night analyzing that question, pulling files, studying precedents, watching recordings of the throne room incident from 17 different angles. The Queen's third eye had opened when Emily approached. That meant she'd seen something true in the child. In the moment. Maybe in me. The Valthrine valued truth above everything, I said. Emily offered a flower and called her pretty. Simple truth. No political calculation. No hidden agenda. The Queen hasn't experienced that kind of honesty since assuming the throne. That's not enough reason to accept a marriage proposal from a child. No, I agreed. It's not. Which means there's another reason. One we'll discover at the bonding chamber. Security Director Rawlings entered without knocking. His face was tight. The Valthrine Embassy transmitted formal requirements for tomorrow's ceremony. You need to see this. Traditional dress. Specific ceremonial phrases. Gift exchanges. Standard diplomatic protocol. Then the last item. The guard who witnessed the proposal must participate as Oath Keeper. Duration permanent. What does Oath Keeper mean? Sarah asked. Rawlings looked at me. It means Lieutenant Xavier becomes responsible for ensuring both parties honor the bond. If Emily breaks the agreement, he faces Valthrine justice. If the Queen breaks it, he faces human military tribunal. That's insane, Marcus said. That's Valthrine law, I replied. They witnessed me holding Emily during the proposal. In their culture, I accepted responsibility for her words by not stopping them. You couldn't stop them, Sarah said. The Queen ordered you not to move. Irrelevant. I was close enough to cover Emily's mouth. I didn't. By Valthrine logic, I allowed the proposal to proceed. Therefore, I'm bound to its outcome. My career had been about understanding enemies, finding weaknesses, preparing for eventual conflict. Now I was being woven into Valthrine society through a child's innocent words. The irony wasn't lost on me. "What happens at the bonding chamber?" Sarah asked. "Traditionally, both families meet. They negotiate terms. Establish what the union means politically, economically, socially. I close the holographic files. But there's no precedent for human Valthrine bonding. We're creating something entirely new. Or walking into a trap," Rawlings said. I'd considered that. Spent hours considering it. The Valthrine could use this to humiliate Earth, force impossible demands, create situations where we have to refuse, giving them justification for aggression. But the Queen's third eye had opened. She'd seen truth. Something in that moment mattered to her.
"We don't have a choice," I said. "We attend tomorrow."
We negotiate in good faith, and we trust that the Queen wants something from this that isn't our destruction. Emily laughed in the corner, stacking blocks into a tower. Knocked it down. Started building again. Simple joy. Uncomplicated creation. The kind of thing the Valthrine, with their rigid hierarchies and ancient protocols, might have forgotten entirely. My sister's face flashed through my mind. The last message from Kepler Colony before the bombardment. Her smile. The way she'd believed in peaceful coexistence right until the moment Valthrine weapons turned the colony to glass. I was about to enter into a permanent bond guaranteeing the union between a human child and the leader of the species that killed her. The bonding chamber existed in a part of the Valthrine embassy humans rarely saw. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, not decorative but communicative. I'd learned enough to read basic sequences. The patterns currently displayed spoke of ancient traditions, binding oaths, and irreversible consequences. Emily wore a simple white dress. Sarah and Marcus flanked her, dressed in formal diplomatic attire. I stood behind them in full ceremonial armor, the guard who'd witnessed everything, now bound to ensure it continued. The Queen entered from the opposite side. She wasn't alone. 5 Valthrine elders followed, their exoskeletons marked with symbols of authority so old our xenolinguists still debated their meanings. Kresh, the warrior caste leader, walked beside them, his weapon limbs retracted but clearly ready. The Queen had changed. Her exoskeleton bore ceremonial markings, intricate patterns that seemed to move when I looked directly at them. Her third eye was closed, waiting. We approached the central platform. The space between us felt charged, electric with potential outcomes. Emily held her mother's hand, looking around with curiosity rather than fear. "The child proposed," one of the elders began, voice translated through harmonic crystals. The Queen accepted. Witnesses confirmed truth.
"We gathered to establish terms."
"Emily is 4 years old," Sarah said, her voice steady despite obvious stress. "She can't enter into a legal contract." "She already has," the elder replied. "Words spoken before the throne carry weight regardless of speaker's age. This is known law. Earth law requires consent from legal guardians," Marcus added. "Then consent or refuse," another elder said. "Refusal means breaking a sacred oath. The consequences are clear. War." They didn't say it, but the word hung in the chamber. I watched the Queen. Her third eye remained closed. She was letting this play out, testing us, measuring our responses. "What does this bonding require?" I asked. Specifically, the elders turned toward me. Kresh's mandibles clicked disapproval at my interruption. The Queen's third eye opened, focused on me. "The Oathkeeper speaks," she said. "Answer him. The bonding requires truth. Complete truth between bonded parties. No deception, no hidden agenda, no political manipulation. The child offered simple truth, beauty seen and acknowledged." The Queen accepted simple truth, appreciation received and returned. "For how long?" Sarah asked. "Until the child reaches majority by human standards," the Queen said. Her voice was different here, less imperial, more personal. "Until she can confirm or dissolve the bond with full understanding." 14 years, where Emily grows under the protection of both species, the Queen continued, where she learns our ways and we learn hers, where truth between our peoples is maintained through the innocence of a child who saw beauty instead of threat. The Queen wasn't creating a marriage. She was creating a living treaty. Emily would become a bridge between species. Her growth, her education, her well-being would require constant cooperation between humans and Valthrine. Any attempt to harm her would violate sacred law on both sides. She'd become untouchable, protected by the most powerful taboos 2 species possessed. "And if we refuse?" I asked. "Then you demonstrate that human truth is conditional," the Queen said. "That your child's words mean nothing. That your species cannot be trusted to honor even the innocent proposals of your young. That's manipulation, Sarah said. That's reality, the Queen replied. Your child approached my throne, offered tribute, declared desire for bonding. I accepted. These are facts. How you respond defines what humanity values. Emily tugged her mother's hand.
Mama, I'm hungry person.
The simple human need broke the tension like shattering glass. The elders shifted, uncertain. The Queen's third eye dilated, focused on Emily, with what might have been amusement. The child requires sustenance, she said. We will pause for... No, I interrupted. Every Valthrine in the chamber tensed. We continue. This is too important to delay. I looked at Sarah and Marcus. Your daughter just changed the relationship between two species. We need to establish exactly what that means before we leave this room. She saw what I saw. The opportunity hidden in this strange situation. The chance to build something real. What are the terms? She asked the Queen directly. No politics. No manipulation. What do you actually want from this bonding? The Queen's third eye closed, then opened wider than I'd ever seen. Her smaller manipulation arms moved in patterns I didn't recognize. When she spoke, her voice carried harmonics the translator struggled to render. I want to remember what truth feels like, she said. Your child looked at me and saw beauty. Not power, not threat, not political advantage. Beauty. I have not experienced that perspective in 63 cycles. I want 14 years of that truth, delivered through a child who cannot lie with the complexity of adults. I want to learn if our species can coexist through genuine connection rather than calculated treaties. And I want you, Lieutenant Xavier, to ensure that truth never becomes corrupted by the politics surrounding it. She stepped closer. The elders moved to block her, but she waved them aside. She approached Emily directly, lowered herself to the child's level, her massive form made gentle, careful. Emily, she said, do you still think I'm pretty? Your eyes are sparkly. The Queen's mandibles spread. Valthrine smiled. Would you like to visit my home sometimes? See where I live? Do you have toys? Some might seem like toys. Okay. Emily considered this with the seriousness only a 4-year-old could manage. But I have to come home for bedtime. Of course. The Queen stood, looked at Sarah and Marcus. Your daughter will remain in your custody. She will attend human schools, maintain human friendships, live a human life. But once each lunar cycle, she will visit the embassy, spend one day learning Valthrine culture, language, customs. She will be protected by both our species as sacred bondkeeper. Any who harm her face the combined wrath of two civilizations. And when she turns 18? Marcus asked. She decides, the Queen said simply. Continue the bond, transform it into something else, or dissolve it entirely. Her choice, made with full knowledge and consent. Sweetheart, do you understand? You'd be friends with the Queen. Visit her sometimes, learn about her people, like a playdate. Yes, like a very important playdate? Oh, no. Emily beamed. Can we have snacks? The Queen laughed. Real, genuine laughter that made the bioluminescent walls pulse with warm colors. We can have snacks. I felt something shift in the chamber. The elders relaxed fractionally. Kresh's weapon limbs retracted fully. The political tension transforming into something stranger, more hopeful. A child's simple needs cutting through centuries of potential conflict. Lieutenant Xavier, the Queen said, her third eye finding me again. You will accompany Emily on these visits. You will observe, report to your superiors, ensure no harm comes to her from either side. And you will tell me, eventually, the truth about why you volunteered for this post. My throat tightened. Your Majesty, truth, Lieutenant. That is the foundation of this bond. Emily provides it through innocence. You will provide it through choice. She returned to the central platform. The terms are established. The bond is confirmed. Let all present witness that humanity and Valthrine are joined through the declared wish of a child who saw beauty where others see only difference. The elders began a harmonic chant. The walls responded, patterns flowing in sequences that our databases said represented binding oaths. Sarah squeezed Marcus's hand. Emily yawned. And I stood there, oathkeeper to a bond between species, responsible for protecting the truth a child had accidentally created, while hiding truths of my own that could destroy everything. The ceremony concluded with formal gestures and ritualistic phrases. But what mattered happened in the moment after, when Emily walked up to the Queen without fear and said, "See you next month, pretty lady." The Queen's third eye remained open, watching the child, and I saw something in that alien gaze I hadn't expected. The first monthly visit happened 3 weeks later. I arrived at the embassy early, full security briefing fresh in my mind, 17 contingency plans memorized. Emily arrived in a bright yellow dress, carrying a stuffed elephant and a drawing she'd made. The Queen met us in a private chamber rather than the throne room. Smaller space. Less formal. She'd arranged cushions on the floor, an approximation of human comfort.
Valthrine didn't sit, but she'd learned.
Adapted. "I made you a picture," Emily announced, thrusting the drawing forward. The Queen's manipulation arms took it carefully. Studied it. The drawing showed 2 figures, one small and pink, one large and purple with multiple eyes. They held hands, or hand equivalents. Above them, Emily had scrawled "Friends" in crayon. "This is beautiful," the Queen said. Her voice carried harmonics the translator rendered as genuine emotion. "May I keep it? I made it for you." She turned to a wall panel, pressed buttons I didn't recognize. The panel opened, revealing a private chamber beyond. "Come. I want to show you something." Protocols screamed warnings, private chambers, unknown spaces, potential threats. But Emily was already walking forward, fearless in the way only children could be. I followed, hand near my weapon, every sense alert. The chamber beyond was unexpected. Gardens. Actual gardens with growing things, bioluminescent plants creating soft light, water features, sounds that might have been Valthrine music or natural environmental noise. Beautiful. Alien. "I grew these," the Queen said, gesturing to the plants, each one from different worlds. This one from Valthrine Prime, this from the third moon of Kepler. My blood froze. Kepler. She'd named it deliberately. Her third eye swiveled toward me while her primary eyes watched Emily explore the garden. "You know about Kepler Colony," I said. "Not a question." "I know everything about the guard who volunteers to protect a child bonded to me," she replied. "I know your sister died there. I know you blame my species. I know you stand in my embassy studying us, learning our weaknesses, preparing for eventual war." Emily found a flower analog, bright blue and pulsing with inner light. She touched it gently. "It's singing," she said, delighted. "It responds to kindness," the Queen explained. Then back to me. "I also know you moved to protect Emily before I commanded you to stop. Instinct overrode protocol. That interests me." "Why?" I kept my voice level professional. "Why does any of this interest you? Why accept Emily's proposal? Why create this bond?" The Queen's third eye closed.
Opened. The gesture I'd learned meant deep consideration.
"Because 63 cycles ago I gave the order to destroy Kepler Colony." The world stopped. Emily's laughter seemed distant. The singing flowers became white noise. Everything contracted to the Queen's words, her third eye, the truth she was offering. "Kepler Colony was developing weapons," she continued. "Weapons designed to destabilize Valthrine biology. We had intelligence, confirmation, proof." The Council ordered immediate response. I authorized it. "Botanist," I said. My voice sounded strange in my own ears. "She studied plant life. She had nothing to do with weapons." "I know. I reviewed every casualty file after. 1473 individuals. Your sister. Her colleagues, families, children." The Queen's smaller arms moved in patterns I now recognized as distress. "We found the weapons facility. Destroyed it. Ended the threat. But the intelligence was wrong. The facility was privately funded by extremists, not sanctioned by your government. The colony itself was innocent. You killed them anyway." "Yes. No justification. No excuse. Simple truth." "I carry those deaths. Everyone. And I cannot undo them. I can only try to prevent more." "Emily brought the singing flower over. Can I take it home? It would die outside this environment," the Queen said gently. "But you can visit it whenever you come here. It will remember you." "Okay." Emily returned the flower carefully to its place. I watched the child, so innocent, moving through a garden grown by the being who'd ordered my sister's death. The dissonance was overwhelming. Rage, grief, duty, and something else I couldn't name yet. "Why tell me this?" I asked. "Because truth is the foundation of this bond," the Queen said. Emily offers it through innocence. I offer it through confession. And you, Lieutenant Xavier, must offer it through choice. You can hate me. You should hate me. But if this bond is to mean anything, you must decide whether hatred is all you are. You destroyed an entire colony. Yes. And you want me to protect a bond between you and a human child? I want you to understand that I see Emily the way I should have seen Kepler Colony, the Queen said, her third eye fixed on me with an intensity that felt physical. As individuals with value beyond political calculation, as beings deserving protection rather than preemptive destruction, your species and mine, we've been circling war for decades. This bond, this child, she's a chance to choose differently. Emily was singing to the flowers now, making up words, melody wandering. The plants responded, their bioluminescence pulsing in rhythm with her voice. You're using her, I said. Yes, and so are you. Standing in my embassy, learning our vulnerabilities, preparing for conflict, we're both using Emily to serve larger purposes. The question is whether we can also see her as she is, a child who deserves better than being a pawn in our species' mutual suspicion. I had been using this assignment, using Emily's bond as cover to gather intelligence. Planning for war while pretending to support peace? The Queen saw it. Her third eye saw everything. What do you want from me? I asked. Honesty. Real honesty. Tell me why you volunteered. Tell me what you plan to do with the information you've gathered. Tell me whether you can see past your grief to something larger. Come see! The flowers like me. I let her pull me toward the garden. The Queen followed. We stood there, three beings from two species, watching bioluminescent plants respond to a child's joy. The weight of history pressed down. Ancient Valthrine Wars. Generations of mutual distrust. I volunteered to understand my enemy, I said. I plan to identify weaknesses, report to military intelligence, help prepare humanity for eventual conflict with Valthrine. And now? Emily was making the flowers perform a symphony through simple touch and laughter, creating something beautiful through innocence. The thing we'd both forgotten in our calculations and suspicions and careful political maneuvering. Now I don't know, I said. I still see my sister's face. Still feel that loss. But I also see this. A child building bridges we're too damaged to construct ourselves. The Queen's third eye closed. Good. Doubt is better than certainty. Uncertainty creates space for change. She touched one of the flowers, her manipulation arms gentle. I grew this garden after Kepler. Each plant represents someone I killed. 14,273 varieties. I tend them every day. Remember them. Let that weight shape my decisions. Does it help? No. But it reminds me that every order I give has consequences. That abstractions like colony or facility or threat are actually people, like your sister, like Emily. Emily's improvised song continued. The flowers responded. And somewhere in that moment something shifted. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but acknowledgement. Shared understanding that we were both trapped by history, both looking for a way forward that didn't lead to more death. The next visit, the Queen said, I would like to discuss Valthrine history. The wars we've fought, the mistakes we've made. I want Emily to learn these things eventually. But first, I think you should know them. Understand us not as enemies, but as flawed beings trying to survive in a dangerous universe. Why does that matter? Because Emily will ask questions soon, about why her visits are so important, about why the pretty lady needs a guard present, about what happened before she was born. And when she asks, we must have answers rooted in truth rather than propaganda. Children ask questions, noticed inconsistencies. Emily would eventually understand that her playdate was actually the most important diplomatic relationship between two species. She'd need context. Truth. I'll come, I said. Listen to your history, but I'm also going to tell you ours. The colonies you've threatened. The fear your ships inspire. The reasons humans developed weapons that forced your preemptive strike. Good. We should understand each other completely. That's what this bond requires. Emily yawned. The garden visit had exhausted her. I picked her up, felt her settle against my shoulder with the trust only children possessed. The Queen watched us with all three eyes. She sees beauty in me, the Queen said quietly. I want to become worthy of that vision. I want to build a civilization that doesn't require gardens of remembrance for the people we've killed.
That's a nice dream.
Dreams maintained by oath keepers who refuse to let us forget what we actually are. Her third eye fixed on me one final time. Your sister's name was Jennifer. She studied drought-resistant crops, hoped to solve food scarcity. She sent you messages every week about her research. The last one arrived 3 hours before the bombardment. Couldn't speak, couldn't move. She'd studied my sister's life, known these details. Carried this specific weight. I'm sorry, the Queen said. Those words are inadequate, but they're true. I'm sorry for taking her from you, from everyone who loved her. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to ensure no one else has to carry that grief. Emily stirred against my shoulder. Home now? Yes, I managed. Home now. Formal protocols resumed. Guards, security checks, diplomatic rituals. But something had changed. Truth shared, history acknowledged. The bond between species becoming real through confession and grief, and a child singing. As we left, I looked back. The Queen stood in the entrance, her third eye still open, watching us go, carrying her garden of remembrance, trying to become worthy of a child's simple declaration of beauty. I didn't forgive her. Couldn't forgive her. But I understood her, and understanding was more dangerous than hatred. Understanding created possibility, created the chance that Emily's bond might actually mean something beyond politics. I drove Sarah and Emily home, my mind full of singing flowers and dead sisters and alien queens trying to change. The universe had become more complicated than enemies and allies. It had become a place where truth mattered more than strategy, and I was bound to protect that truth for 14 more years. Year 3 of the bond. Emily was 7 now, asking harder questions. The monthly visits had become routine. Comfortable enough that the Valthrine guards no longer tensed when she arrived. Complex enough that I spent each session cataloging new information about their society, their technologies, their vulnerabilities. Old habits died hard. Why do you have 3 eyes? Emily asked during this month's visit. She sat in the garden, massively expanded now, covering half an acre with plants from 100 worlds. The Queen had continued her memorial growing. 2 eyes see the physical world, the Queen explained. Her manipulation arms were braiding what looked like luminous grass. The third eye sees truth, intention, the space between what is said and what is meant. That sounds confusing. It is. Seeing physical reality and emotional truth simultaneously creates constant contradiction. We evolved to navigate both, but it creates strain. I watched from my usual position, close enough to intervene, far enough to seem respectful. 3 years of these visits had taught me more about Valthrine psychology than a decade of intelligence briefings. The Queen's third eye was both surveillance tool and burden. She couldn't turn it off. Couldn't unsee the truth beneath surfaces. Living with perfect truth detection had to be exhausting. Does it hurt? Emily asked. Sometimes. When the truth I see conflicts with the truth I want to see. Like what? Like watching someone collect information about my people while pretending to simply protect you. Emily frowned. Xavier protects me. He's my friend. And he is your friend. And he also studies everything he observes here to report to his superiors. All these truths exist simultaneously. Instinct. Threat assessment. But Emily just nodded, accepting the complexity with a child's flexibility. That's okay, she said. Mama says people can be more than one thing. Your mother is wise. The Queen finished her braiding, handed the luminous grass rope to Emily. People are always more than one thing. The question is which things we choose to develop. Emily wrapped the grass rope around her wrist like a bracelet. It pulsed with her heartbeat, some biological synchronization I didn't understand. Xavier is more good things than bad things. I believe so too. Continued gathering information. But the Queen's observation sat heavy. She'd called out what I'd been doing for 3 years, made it explicit, acknowledged it without condemnation. The session ended. Emily returned home with her parents. I remained as had become customary. These post-visit conversations with the Queen had become their own ritual, truth-sharing time. You're still reporting everything you observe, she said once we were alone. Yes, your superiors appreciate the intelligence. They do. 3 years of visits. 3 years of watching Emily and the Queen build genuine connection. 3 years of listening to Valthrine history, culture, fears. I'd learned their language beyond what translators provided. Understood their hand gestures, their pheromone communications, their bioluminescent expressions. I'd also identified 17 critical infrastructure vulnerabilities, mapped their security protocols, and developed 3 different theoretical strategies for incapacitating the embassy if conflict erupted. I'm good at my job, I said. That's not an answer to my question. Waiting? Seeing through whatever deflection I attempted. I appreciate understanding you, I said carefully, knowing why you make the decisions you make. Seeing your civilization as more than military threat. But yes, I'm also weaponizing that understanding. Preparing for conflict while pretending to support peace. You're not pretending. You're doing both. Supporting peace while preparing for its failure. That's honest, pragmatic. I'd be concerned if you weren't gathering intelligence. You want me to spy on you? I want you to see us clearly. All of us. Strengths and weaknesses. Nobility and cruelty. If you only saw our propaganda, you'd never trust us. If you see everything and still choose cooperation, that trust means something. She gestured to the garden. It had grown massive. 14,000 plants and more. She'd added varieties representing people killed in other conflicts, other preemptive strikes, other mistakes. I show you my history because I want you to know what we're capable of, she said. The good and the terrible. Emily sees only beauty because she's a child. But you need to see the full truth. The wars we've won through calculated genocide. The species we've driven to extinction. The colonies we've destroyed based on incomplete intelligence. Like Kepler. And 17 others across 2 centuries. We are not gentle people, Lieutenant Xavier. We are survivors who learned that striking first, striking hard, keeps us alive. But survival isn't the same as being right. I walked through the garden, touched plants that represented dead worlds, dead colonies, dead people who'd never had a chance to surrender or explain or prove they weren't threats. Why are you telling me this? Because in 11 years, Emily will be 18. She'll decide whether to continue our bond. But that decision won't matter if our species are at war, and war is coming, Lieutenant. You know it. I know it. The political situation deteriorates monthly. Border conflicts escalate. Both sides prepare for inevitable confrontation. You think Emily can prevent that? I think you can. The statement landed like a physical blow.
I'm just a guard, an oath keeper.
I have no political authority. You have something more valuable.
You have truth. 3 years of truth.
You've seen our weaknesses and haven't exploited them. You've learned our fears and haven't weaponized them. You've watched a child and an alien queen build genuine connection and protected that connection even while gathering intelligence that could destroy us. Opened. You're becoming what we need, Lieutenant. A bridge. Someone who understands both sides completely and can speak truth to power on both sides. Dismissed as naive or propagandized because you've studied us with hostile intent and still chose to see us as people? I still see my sister's face. I said, still know what you did. Good. Never let me forget it. But also see Emily's face. See what we're building here. And ask yourself whether destroying us would honor your sister's memory or just add more names to Gardens of Remembrance. The weight of it was crushing. She was asking me to become more than intelligence asset, more than Oathkeeper. She was asking me to choose sides, except the sides weren't human versus Valthrine. The sides were war versus peace. Continuation of generational violence versus difficult, fragile cooperation. I can't promise anything, I said. I'm not asking for promises. I'm asking you to witness truth and act accordingly. That's what Oathkeepers do. Emily's laughter echoed in my memory. The way she'd wrapped the luminous grass around her wrist called me friend. Seen good things in me despite my ulterior motives. Children believed in possibility. Believed people could change. Maybe that was the truth. The Queen's third eye saw in Emily. Not innocence exactly, but faith that beauty existed even in complicated beings. Even in beings who destroyed colonies and collected intelligence and carried gardens of grief. The next visit, I said, I want to bring someone. Another human. Someone who needs to see what's happening here. Who? Director Rawlings. My superior, the one receiving my intelligence reports. He needs to witness the bond directly. See Emily and you together, understand what we're actually protecting. The Queen's third eye dilated. Consideration. Calculation. He could see it as vulnerability. Use it against us. He could. But he's also the person who'll make recommendations when politicians start demanding military action. He needs context beyond intelligence reports. He needs to see you as Emily sees you. As pretty? A hint of humor in the harmonics? As real? As worth the risk of peace. The Queen was silent for long moments. The garden's bioluminescence pulsed around us, each plant a memory, a mistake, a reason to choose differently. Bring him, she said finally. Show him everything. Let him see what humanity and Valthrine can build together, and let him see what we'll destroy if we choose war instead. Director Rawlings attended the next monthly visit with visible skepticism. He'd read my reports, seen the intelligence, but reports didn't capture the reality of watching a 7-year-old child teach an alien queen to play human clapping games. Miss Mary Mac, 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 Emily sang. The Queen attempted to follow the rhythm with her manipulation arms. Failed. Tried again. Failed better.
This is ridiculous, Rawlings muttered.
This is truth, I replied. Keep watching. The Queen finally managed the pattern. Emily squealed with delight. They continued the game, building complexity, the Queen learning human child play with the same focus she probably applied to military strategy. All dressed in black, 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 they sang together, voices harmonizing despite radically different vocal structures. After the game ended, the Queen led us to her garden. Rawlings saw the scale of it, the thousands of plants, the memorial to violence. His expression shifted from skepticism to something else. Recognition, maybe. Understanding that this wasn't political theater. Each plant represents someone you killed? He asked. Yes, the Queen said. Each one tended daily, remembered, never forgotten. That's a lot of guilt. Would you like to know the specific breakdown? Civilians versus combatants, ages, occupations. I have detailed records. Touched plants the way I had, felt the weight of them. I've read the casualty reports. Know the numbers. I lost people too. Friends, colleagues. Your file indicates you commanded defense forces during the Helios incident. Lost 43 personnel when our ships fired without provocation. You fired because you thought we were developing weapons. Same justification as Kepler. We were wrong that time too. The facility was researching defensive shields, not offensive weapons. We destroyed it anyway. They stood among the plants, two beings who'd lost people to each other's species' violence. Emily played nearby, oblivious to the heavy history surrounding her. Why bring me here? Rawlings asked. Why show me this? Because Lieutenant Xavier believes you need to see the bond's reality. Understand what's at stake beyond political maneuvering, and because I want you to know that I'm aware of my history. I don't excuse it. I use it to make better decisions. Like accepting a child's proposal? Like accepting an opportunity for genuine change. Emily sees beauty in me. That vision is precious. Rare. I want to preserve it. Build something that deserves it. Rawlings looked at me. You believe this? After Kepler? After everything they've done? I believe she's trying, I said. I believe Emily's bond creates incentive for cooperation that pure political treaties lack. I believe we have 11 years to build something real before war becomes inevitable. War might come sooner than that. Border tensions are escalating. Politicians on both sides are demanding action. That's why you need to report this accurately. Not just my intelligence, the full context. What's being built here? The Queen's third eye focused on Rawlings. You see truth like I do, Director. Different mechanism, same result. You recognize lies, manipulation, false promises. So look at me now and tell me what you see. Rawlings met her gaze. Human eyes versus alien third eye. Both searching for truth. I see someone who's killed thousands, who might kill thousands more. But I also see someone trying to change, trying to build something different through the strangest diplomatic relationship in history. And I'll report what I've seen, but I can't promise it'll matter. Politicians don't care about complicated truth. They want simple narratives. Enemy or ally? Threat or friend? Then make them care, the Queen said. Show them images of Emily and me. Force them to see this as more than abstract geopolitics. Make them understand that declaring war means destroying the bond between a child and a being she calls Pretty Lady. That's manipulation. I'm manipulating human emotion to prevent human and Valthrine deaths. Is that wrong? Bitter, tired laughter. No. That's just honest. At least you admit it. He turned to me. Your reports have been accurate, detailed, useful. Keep sending them. But also keep protecting this. Whatever this is. Because if war comes, we'll need people who remember there was another way. Emily ran over, Director Rawlings. Want to see my bracelet? It glows. She showed him the luminous grass rope. He knelt down, examined it with genuine interest. "That's beautiful, Emily. The pretty lady made it for me. She makes lots of things."
She's really good at making things. I bet she is.
Child showing off a gift, adult responding with kindness, but also political education. Rawlings seeing Emily's unfiltered perspective. The queen is creator rather than destroyer, being who made beautiful things for a child who saw beauty in her. We left the embassy together. Rawlings was quiet during the transport back to headquarters.
Process.
Finally, "They could still destroy us. I know. Everything you've learned, all their vulnerabilities, it doesn't change their military superiority. I know that too, but you think Emily's bond matters more than strategic advantage. I think," I said carefully, "that Emily's bond represents a possibility we've never had before. Genuine understanding. Mutual investment in each other's survival. Reason to choose peace beyond fear of mutual destruction. That's naive. But naive belief in peace is still better than sophisticated preparation for war." Rawlings smiled. "Your sister would have liked that sentiment. She believed in possibility too. Studied crops to feed hostile environments. Wanted to make life possible where death was expected. Painful, but also right. She'd believed in creating life. Building bridges. Finding solutions." "Yeah," I said. "She would have liked Emily. Liked what we're trying to do here. Then I'll make sure my reports honor that. Give this bond the best chance possible." Rawlings paused at the headquarters entrance. "But Xavier, if war comes anyway, if politicians ignore truth and choose violence, I need to know you'll still act in humanity's interest. I'm Oathkeeper to Emily and the Queen. That's my primary duty." "That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. I protect the bond. Whatever that requires." Rawlings nodded slowly. "Accepting the ambiguity, fair enough. Just remember that protecting the bond might eventually mean choosing sides. Make sure you know which side you'll choose." He walked inside, left me standing in the evening air, thinking about sides and choices and bonds that transcended species. Emily's bracelet glowed in my memory. Plants representing dead thousands. A queen trying to change. A director willing to report complicated truth. 11 years until Emily turned 18. 11 years to build something strong enough to survive political pressures. 11 years to prove that beauty seen by a child could reshape the relationship between species. The weight felt impossible. But I'd carried impossible weights before. My sister's death. My grief. My hatred. I could carry hope too. Even if it meant choosing sides I never expected to choose. Year 11. Emily was 17, preparing for her final year of secondary education. The monthly visits had evolved dramatically. She no longer needed my constant presence. Instead, she spent hours in deep conversation with the Queen, discussing philosophy, politics, history, building genuine friendship beyond the ceremonial bond. Still protected, still gathered intelligence. But everything had changed. The border conflicts Rawlings warned about had escalated into 3 major incidents: Valthrine ships and human vessels exchanging fire, casualties on both sides, political pressure mounting for full declaration of war. Only the bond held peace together, both governments unwilling to risk Emily's safety by starting open conflict. She'd become exactly what the Queen predicted: a living treaty. More valuable than any political agreement, because destroying her meant acknowledging that innocent connections didn't matter. "I've been accepted to the Interspecies Diplomatic Academy," Emily said during this month's visit. She sat in the garden, now covering 5 acres with plants from 300 worlds. The Queen had expanded her memorial to include species Valthrine had driven to extinction. Complete honesty about historical violence. "Congratulations," the Queen said. Her third eye was permanently dilated now. Years of seeing truth had worn her down, but she refused to stop looking. "Will you accept?" I don't know. It means 4 years away. Missing our visits, breaking routine. The bond doesn't require physical presence. We can maintain connection through other means. But it wouldn't be the same. 11 years of protection had let me see something beautiful develop. Genuine care between beings who should have been impossible friends. The child who'd seen beauty had grown into a young woman who saw complexity, nuance, cost. The Queen who'd accepted a random proposal had grown into a being who placed relationship above political calculation. "What do you think, Xavier?" Emily asked. "Should I go?" 11 years, and she still asked my opinion, still saw me as more than guard, as friend, teacher, someone who'd been present for every stage of her growth. I think, I said carefully, that you should do what honors the connection you've built. This bond was never just about monthly visits. It was about proving our species could understand each other. You've done that. Now show what that understanding can accomplish. Emily smiled. That's a very diplomatic non-answer. I've learned from the best. The Queen laughed. Her harmonic crystals had been customized over the years to better express human-style humor.
Small adaptation.
Sign of genuine effort to bridge difference. The Academy would be good training, the Queen said. If you're serious about diplomatic work, I want to do what you and Xavier do. Build bridges. Create understanding. Prevent future gardens of remembrance. The Queen's third eye closed. Opened slowly. That's worthy work. Difficult work. Work that will break your heart repeatedly. I know. You've shown me your garden, explained every mistake. Really? The Queen stood, began walking through the plants. We followed. These plants represent people I killed because I was afraid, because I saw threats instead of possibilities, because I chose violence over uncertainty. You'll face those choices too. Not as warrior queen, but as diplomat. And you'll make mistakes. Hurt people. Fail to prevent conflicts. So I shouldn't try. No. You should try knowing you'll fail sometimes. That's the truth of this work. We try anyway. We build bridges knowing some will collapse. We create bonds knowing they're fragile. We choose peace knowing war waits in the margins. Emily touched one of the plants. It responded to her, bioluminescence synchronizing with her heartbeat. 11 years of visits had made her partially integrated into the garden's ecosystem. She belonged here in ways that should have been impossible. When I turn 18 next year, she said quietly, I have to decide about the bond. Continue it, transform it, or dissolve it. Yes, the Queen said. What do you want me to choose? The question hung in the air. 11 years building toward this moment. The Queen's third eye fixed on Emily with an intensity that felt physical. I want you to choose whatever honors your truth, the Queen said. Not mine, not humanity's, not Valthrine's, yours. What do you see when you look at this bond? What does it mean to you? Emily was quiet for long moments, thinking, processing. Finally, it means family. Chosen family. It means you're someone I love who happens to be alien. It means everything we've built matters more than politics, or species, or history. And if war comes anyway, if our governments demand you choose sides, us, the bond, the proof that connection transcends conflict. The Queen's third eye closed. When it opened again, I saw something I'd never seen before. Tears. Valthrine didn't cry like humans, but their third eye could produce moisture when experiencing overwhelming emotion. Truth seen so clearly it became too much to hold. You honor me, the Queen said, more than I deserve. More than I could have hoped for when a 4-year-old child offered me a wilted flower. They embraced, alien and human.
And child.
Become woman. Family created through accident and choice, and 11 years of consistent truth. I stood guard as always, but I wasn't just protecting Emily anymore. I was protecting possibility, the living proof that our species could build something beautiful together. My communicator buzzed. Director Rawlings requesting immediate contact. I stepped away, accepted the call. Lieutenant Xavier, Rawlings said. His face was grim. The frontier incident has escalated. Valthrine fleet destroyed a human mining station, 300 dead. Politicians are demanding full military response. We have 48 hours before war declaration becomes inevitable. The world contracted. Everything we'd built, 11 years of careful bridge construction, about to collapse. What about the bond, I asked. Politicians don't care. They're calling it Valthrine manipulation, claiming the Queen used Emily to make us weak. Demanding we end the farce and respond with appropriate force. You've seen the truth. You know what they've built. I know, but truth doesn't matter when people want blood. I'm sorry, Xavier. I fought for this. Showed them everything. It wasn't enough. I looked at Emily and the Queen, still embracing, still believing connection mattered, still choosing each other despite everything pushing them apart. 48 hours, I said. Use them well. Say goodbye. Prepare for what comes next. The call ended. I stood there, watching family that shouldn't exist, protecting a bond that couldn't survive the political reality about to crash down. Emily noticed my expression. What's wrong? The Queen's third eye swiveled toward me. She saw, already knew. Truth visible in my face, my stance, my sudden tension. War, she said simply. It's finally coming. Emily's face went pale. No, we have the bond. They can't, they will. Politicians on both sides have been waiting for excuse enough. The Frontier incident provides it. The Queen returned to her throne. She'd had one installed in the garden years ago, symbol of how this space had become her real seat of power. 48 hours until declaration, yes, Lieutenant? Yes, Your Majesty. Emily, you have a decision to make earlier than planned. I choose the bond. I choose us. Choosing us now means choosing a side in an actual war. It means possibly betraying your species. Being labeled traitor. Living in exile. Are you prepared for that? Emily's hands trembled, but her voice was steady. Are you prepared for it? Choosing to protect me means defying your council, possibly losing your throne, creating civil war among your own people. I've been preparing for this possibility since you first offered me that flower. Yes, I'm prepared. Then at me. And you, Lieutenant Xavier? What's your choice? The question I'd been avoiding for 11 years. The question Rawlings warned me I'd eventually face. Which side would I choose when sides became concrete rather than abstract? I thought about my sister, about Kepler Colony, about 14,000 people killed because the Queen was afraid, about my hatred, carefully maintained across years of proximity, about revenge I could have taken countless times and never did. I thought about Emily, about watching her grow from innocent child to thoughtful young woman,
About protection that became genuine care.
about witnessing beauty in impossible places. I thought about the Queen, about her garden, about daily tending to plants representing her mistakes, about choosing to change, about opening her third eye to truth, even when it hurt. I thought about what my sister would want, what she died believing in, the possibility of life in hostile environments, building instead of destroying. I choose truth, I said. I protect the bond. I protect Emily. I protect what you've built together, even if it means standing against humanity, even if it means being labeled traitor. Because this matters more than species loyalty. The Queen's third eye closed, opened. You'll be hunted, court-martialed, possibly executed if captured. I know. Career. Reputation. Home. I know that too. Then welcome to exile, Oathkeeper. Let's make these 48 hours count. Escape routes. Ways to protect Emily while buying time for political intervention. The Queen contacted sympathetic members of her council. I contacted allies in human military who might delay the war declaration. Emily reached out to other bondkeepers, humans and Valthrine, who'd created smaller connections inspired by our example. 48 hours became a race against political inevitability. We worked without sleep, without doubt, without anything except desperate certainty that what we protected mattered. 30 hours in, Director Rawlings arrived at the embassy. Unannounced. Unexpected. He found me in the garden coordinating defensive positions. You're really doing this, he said. Choosing them over us. I'm choosing peace over war. That's not the same thing. It is to everyone who matters. You'll be branded traitor, hunted, killed if found. I know. Looked around at the garden, at plants representing historical violence, at what the Queen had built from her guilt. I've spent 30 hours trying to delay the declaration. Called in every favor. Made every argument. It's not enough. War is coming. Then we fight differently. We prove the bond matters. We show that connection transcends conflict. We become martyrs? Rawlings interrupted. Beautiful, tragic martyrs whose deaths politicians will use to justify genocide. That's what happens next. You know that, right? They'll kill the Queen, kill Emily. Kill you. And use those deaths to eliminate Valthrine entirely. Paint it as justified response to broken faith. The truth of it hit like physical force. We weren't just fighting for the bond. We were potentially creating the excuse for species-wide destruction. What should I do? I asked. Rawlings stood, walked to the Queen's throne where she sat coordinating with her sympathetic council members. Your Majesty, I need truth. Can you see whether I'm lying? Always. What do you want to tell me? That I believe in the bond. That I've believed in it since I first witnessed it 11 years ago. That I've been working within human government to preserve it despite increasing pressure for war. And that I have a plan to save Emily, save you, and save both our species from mutual destruction. What plan? Sacrifice. Public, dramatic sacrifice that forces both species to reconsider violence. Not Emily's sacrifice, not yours. Mine. Seeing truth. Seeing intention. Seeing what Rawlings planned before he said it. No, she said. I won't allow it. You don't get to decide. This is my choice. My way to honor the bond you and Emily built. My way to give Xavier's betrayal meaning. What are you talking about? I asked. Rawlings turned to me. In 24 hours, I'm going to stand before the council on both sides. I'm going to explain everything I've witnessed. Show them Emily and the Queen's relationship. Force them to see the bond's reality. And then I'm going to take responsibility for the Frontier incident. You weren't responsible. You weren't even there. I'll claim I ordered the mining station to develop weapons. Say it was unauthorized Black Ops project. Give both sides someone to blame besides each other. Then I'll submit to Valthrine justice. Let them decide my fate. Show human willingness to accept consequences for our violence. They'll execute you, the Queen said. But my death might buy time for actual diplomacy. Might force pause and rush to war. Might give Emily's bond the chance to matter the way it should. Emily had entered during his speech. She stood there, face pale, understanding the implications. You can't. It's not right. You didn't do anything wrong. I did everything wrong, Rawlings said. I prioritized military readiness over diplomatic relationship. I gathered intelligence to prepare for war instead of using it to prevent conflict. I failed to make political leaders care about truth. This is my mistake to fix. By dying, someone has to break the cycle of violence. Might as well be the old soldier who's tired of preparing for wars that steal beautiful futures. He said it looking at the garden, at plants representing people who never got to grow old. Never got to see what they might have become. My sister among them, thousands more. I won't stop you, the Queen said finally. But I won't make your sacrifice meaningless either. I'll ensure your death creates the pause you hope for. I'll use every political tool I possess to transform your martyrdom into genuine diplomatic opening. Lieutenant Xavier, you're officially relieved of duty. No court-martial. No charges. Just exile. Protect Emily. Protect the bond. Show our species what we could become if we chose love over fear. I returned it. Last military gesture between us. Last acknowledgement of shared service. Then he walked away, heading toward sacrifice, choosing death to give peace a chance. Emily collapsed. I caught her. Held her while she cried, for the man had believed in her bond enough to die for it. The Queen descended from her throne, wrapped us both in her manipulation arms. 3 beings from 2 species, holding each other while war and peace hung in balance. The bond survives, the Queen whispered. Whatever happens next, the bond survives. We make sure of it. Yes, I said. We make sure of it. And in the Garden of Remembrance, surrounded by plants representing historical violence, we began planning how to honor Rawlings' sacrifice by building the peace he died to create. The final choice had been made. Not by politics, not by military force, but by beings who saw beauty in each other and refused to let that beauty be destroyed. Whatever came next, we'd face it together. Family forged through accident, choice, grief, and love that transcended everything trying to tear it apart. The bond would survive. We'd make certain of it, because some truths were worth protecting, even when the universe conspired against them, even when sacrifice became necessary, even when hope seemed impossible. We'd seen beauty in each other. That vision was worth everything.